Hey guys, what's going on? Peety here. So today we're going to talk about how to start a field as a tanker. Now this field I'm airman, but we're going to talk about tanker. So basically what I do when I start out is I look around to see who's around me. Now I look to see, do I have any allies in the area? Do I have any league members in the area? And then I look to see what kind of resource zones are around me. So obviously with tanker, you're going to want to get some rubber zones. And you're going to need a little bit of cash as well, so you can grab some villages. And that's typically what you want to rush for. If there's friends around you, league mates, you kind of want to communicate with them to see who gets the rubber, as sometimes they're very close and you have to share or whatever it may be. So I just look around, I observe what kind of threats are around me. You start to typically recognize people, and you can kind of like look at their stats and see what kind of units they're going to have. Like this major, for example, he's going to have some high tier units as he has 7,000 hours played. But this guy, however, despite him being level 1 city, I wouldn't really be afraid of this guy much at all. His units are going to be pretty low tier unless he followed my guides and has a maxed out tank army or something like that. Regardless, I just scout, see what I'm at, and then I start going after it. So now when I first come in, the very first thing I want to do is get my turrets to level 2. The reason why is you're going to have rebels spawn all around your base, and you want to be shooting those constant. You want to have absolutely zero time when a rebel tank is sitting here and your turret isn't shooting it. The reason why is because the battlefield level at the very beginning is very, 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 very important. That's what you can level up your whole city to, and so on and so forth. And then also get troops. Like in the beginning of the field, you spawn with 12 troops, 12 cap, and then per level you get +2. So very quickly, if you're level 4 and someone's level 8, they're going to have 8 more troops than you, like right out of the gate. So that's why you really need to do that quickly. Another thing to do is you can potentially, if you want to be really tryhard with it, you are going to want to gem either light tanks or medium tanks, depending on what you want to do. So with the new, it only takes a minute. Sometimes in some fields it takes 2 minutes to gem light tanks. But basically you come here and gem up 10 to 12 light tanks right off the rip. What that'll allow you to do is come around and kill these different zones very, very, very quickly and not lose any troops. Also, something you want to do as tanker is you want to blitz your army. If you blitz your army, you get +40 speed and a little bit of heal. But blitzing them will allow them to move to those zones quicker, and you'll be able to conquer all this stuff quicker and be ready to fight quicker. Another thing you can do if you have this tactic is the Persuade Captive. This is very, very good early game. So what it does is it restores 3% of max HP per minute for all of your troops that are engaging with enemies within the radius. So if you're fighting anybody and you have that popped on you, you're going to gain 3% HP back while in a fight. It's just a passive heal. That can help you win a lot of fights. That'll keep a lot of your troops alive, and that'll keep you net positive and looking good. So those buffs are pretty important there. So you want to get your light tanks out, and you want to kind of have a goal. For me, I usually like running tigers when I run tanker. So I'll keep making light tanks. I don't really mess with stugs at all. I just keep making light tanks until I can get my city up to level 8, and then I'll start producing my tigers. Now the reason I do that, and I don't mess with stugs, is because with the tanker buffs, your light tanks are just freaking lightning quick, and they're killers. Like I said, I'm currently airman, and I've got 6,500 HP on these light tanks. The only officer I have for him is this guy. Let me actually click on him. Is this guy. There's another tanker officer you can pick up who's on sale right now, but he's 50 bucks. The Ketchup Man, and he'll give you some more buffs. But this is all I really need. This is all I use, and I'm sitting at 6,500 on some light tanks. Um, Pretty solid. The highest these light tanks can go up to is about 7,200 HP with full buffs and officers. So these are a fighting force that are super quick, super deadly, especially if you have 20 or 30 of them before you start making tigers. So that's the reason for that. If you want to go mediums, you can. It's going to take you longer to get them out, but that's at level 6 city and 6 munition factory, and those have 9,500 HP. If you get the 2 officers, the 3 officers that comes with them. Here's one. Let me see if I can find the second guy. I just bought him, so I don't remember what he looks like. Oh, George Patton. Here's 2. And then the third guy is also Ketchup Man. So keep that in mind when doing that. But anyways, I get those tanks out, and all I do is I play very, 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 very aggressive. Um, Not too aggressive to where I push this guy by myself. If I'm going to push a high level player like this, he's going to have the exact same tanks I have. So I'm going to have a league member help me push him right out of the gate. But if I'm pushing somebody like this, I'm going to push them immediately. As soon as that shield drops, I'm there, which is going to happen. Spoiler. But that's something to keep in mind. So slowly progress to tigers as you do, and then moving into the battlefield tech portion of it, the very first thing I upgrade for ground forces every single time is this light tank HP and speed. And then typically I'll go from that to my light tank attack, and then I'll do my light tank gains repel. This repel is really good. You can kind of kite people with it. Let me show you what it does real quick. So for 3 minutes, you get 100% defense, but you minus 90% speed. It's really solid if you're trying to take a city or fight an army or whatever it may be. The reason why is because you can come over here into your troops and say you are fighting somebody. Try to find. Say you are fighting somebody and these guys are getting shot at and they're stacked up like this, and you can't really tell who's getting hit. You can come under here and you can look and see which one's damaged, and then you could pop repel on him. So he'll still be shooting, everything will still be going good, but they're going to be shooting at a guy that has a plus 100% defense, and they won't even know it. And so once he dies, you can switch to the next light tank that's getting hit, do the same thing, so on and so forth, and essentially it doubles your defense on your light tanks. So there's a little tip for that. Let's see, is there anything else I want to mention? With tanker, I try to secure a lot of MZs. If you see any MZs around your base, which I don't on this map, but you want to try to secure MZs, and then you want to build army camps inside of them. You want to upgrade those army camps up to level 3, 5, 7, or 9, or preferably 9. And the reason for that is for expanding. So once you start getting into the end game, you gotta expand your tiger tanks. You have to expand them. And what that means is basically you go into the army camp, you hit troop list, go to expand troop. It's available at level 3, and then at 5, 7, 9. At level 3, you can take these guys to level 2. At level 5, you can take them to level 3, 7, 4, 9, 5. So you want to be just constantly producing these tigers and constantly upgrading them whenever you're in downtime or whatever inside of that MZ. If you have multiple MZs, that's even better. And that way, whenever it comes time to fight, these key things can be level 3, level 4, and they'll just be that much stronger. So yeah, I think that's really all I have for tanker tips. I think my last tip is when you get to tigers, after about 24 hours in the field, you need to expect that enemies have bombers. At that point, you're going to want to run some type of like transport with some type of AA. I prefer using a league city and getting gigant transports, these big guys right here, because they hold a lot of space and they have a lot of HP. Get the gig transports and then run these flak 41 or these whirlies. Okay, The reason is because with these, you can actually defend your tanks against any bombers that come at you, and they'll keep you safe. If you're going to run Flak 41, make sure you come and you upgrade this battlefield tech. It's under AT, I believe. No, it's under AA. Where is it? Is it that one? There it is. Flak 41 Salvo Attack. So upon activation, units gain AoE for 5 minutes. It's a 30-minute cooldown. It's available at level 15. You need to have this if you're going to try to defend against bombers. It's the only way you can do it. It turns your single attacks, like all of your AA shooting at one bomber and only hitting one bomber, into shooting at one bomber and hitting all of the bombers in a 100-point radius, giving it splash damage. So you need to do that. And then one other tip with it is if you have your flak out, say you have, typically you run about 15 flak. If you have 15 flak, before you load them into your transports, use salvo and then load. What that will do is they'll go into your transport, and when you drop them, salvo will still be activated, but that 30-minute cooldown will be up if you fly for 30 minutes. And so basically you can drop them, they'll have salvo on it already, they'll shoot for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then as soon as it runs out, you can just click it again. There's no cooldown, you're just back-to-back salvos, so it gives you 10 minutes. Alright, man, that was a lot. My throat hurts. Alright, guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to make an airman and a cannoneer, so if you're looking forward to that, this should be coming out shortly. I appreciate you watching, and take it easy. Peety out.